So now that you are a machine learning product manager, let's answer the first obvious question. What is machine learning? And if you're not familiar with the concept of machine learning, instead of starting with a dictionary definition, let's look at a couple of examples to help really illustrate how machine learning works. Here are two problems that I would like you to solve. Here's the first problem. I'll give you a couple of seconds. The answer is pretty obvious. It is 6. And this is a classical programming problem. The program gets inputs, which are the numbers 1, 2, and 3, and a set of instructions on what to do with those inputs, which in this case is to add them together. And using the inputs and the instructions, the program figures out the answer, which is also called an output. And this is also how calculators work. Now let's take a look at a second problem. So take a moment to try to solve this problem. Have you figured it out? Now think about how you go about solving this problem. With this second challenge, we don't have a set of instructions, so we use a form of trial and error to solve it. So we may say, let's try first adding them together. Does that work? So 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. So yes, we get the correct answer. And what if we tried subtraction? That would obviously not work, but hang on, what if we also tried multiplying them together? Yes, that also gives us 6. So we found two possible solutions. And so we don't have a definite answer, but we do have a couple of possibilities. And to get that final answer, we need more data. So let's get one more example. Now with this additional example, try to work it out now. And the second example lets us rule out multiplication, and we can see that addition is the only option. And this, in the simplest sense, is how machine learning works. The program gets inputs and outputs and derives the rules through a process of trial and error and learning. And in our example, we went through a few learning loops, and using a small sample size of 2, we were able to solve this problem. But machine learning in the real world, of course, tackles much more complex challenges, and so we need a much larger data set to find the right patterns and derive the right rules. But in principle, this is how machine learning works. And what is interesting is that all living things, from when we are first born, solve problems using the second approach, because life doesn't come with an instruction manual, and human beings are not explicitly programmed with a set of rules on what they should or shouldn't do. And so we use our inputs, our eyes, ears, and nose, to collect data, and through a process of trial and error, what we call experience, we create our own rules. And machine learning is really an attempt by us humans to get computers to work more like us, to be able to learn without being explicitly programmed. And machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, which is a field that is entirely inspired by the inner workings of the human mind, how it is able to continuously learn, adapt, and thrive in complex and ever-changing environments. And we will, of course, go into more detail later on in this course, but that is a really simplified definition of machine learning. So the key takeaway from this lesson is that traditional programming uses rules and data to figure out answers, whereas machine learning relies on data and the answers to figure out the rules. And while the concept of machine learning has been around for a while, it was first coined in 1949, only recently has it really begun to come to fruition and make an impact, and today it is set to disrupt and revolutionize almost every single industry. And so in the next lesson, we will look at how machine learning is going mainstream and why every single product manager should begin to try to grasp machine learning and how it's impacting their industry. We'll cover that in the next lesson, and I'll see you soon.